some point here. Speaking of someone who has made quite a few claims over the course of his career, we have Double Lift with a Player of the Week interview from back in Week 8. Let's go to check it out.
Welcome back to the MasterCard Player of the Week interview. Double Lift for Week 8. And I did some sleuthing this year about why you came back to professional play. And I realized the one thing you hadn't accomplished domestically was a MasterCard Player of the Week trophy. So at long last, you got it. Are you even going to come back for summer?
There it is. After this, maybe not. Maybe it's time to go back to full-time streaming. I mean, this is it. This is the last on the check boxes.
Yeah.
Bucket list.
Yeah, I mean, I know your shelf at home has like your MVP trophy and then like a bunch of LCS things, but that's probably front.
This is pretty huge. This is pretty huge. I didn't realize what they used that full body scan on Asset Day for, and now I know. It's to make a little mini me.
You just idly were like, yeah, you can just scan.
Everyone thinks I'm an egomaniac, so maybe I'll just be at home like playing with my action figures, like using myself as like the superhero.
Let's talk a little bit about Week 8, though, because you had an insane amount of kills in the 5 games. I think you had, I don't know exactly, I think it was 47. And you had like 106 kills for the whole split. So you almost had as many kills in that week as you had the whole year.
That is pretty crazy.
Did anything change about your preparation or your mindset for Week 8 compared to the first 7 weeks?
Well, I mean, we were getting destroyed mid-season, so almost had as many wins in that week than the entire,
you had half the wins in that week.
Yeah, exactly. So that makes sense, because usually when you're losing a lot, you're not getting many kills this AD. We just knew that we had to like get the ship sailing. I mean, people always say this, oh, regular season you do a lot of experimentation, but like we really just thought we could do everything. Like we came into the split like, let's not be a formulaic team. Let's like figure it out. Let's be a team that can be versatile and do like everything. It usually results in bad things. I don't know why everyone's always making the same mistake in LCS, but yeah, like last couple weeks, basically, we realized, okay, it's go time. Like if we don't make playoffs, our whole season was for nothing. So let's like kind of like lock in. Let's actually play together. When somebody makes a call, let's just do it. Even if we don't know how it's going to turn out, we have like some hesitations inside. Like we should just follow the call.
Dude, I love how you're using your statue like it's a microphone. Like, I feel like you're doing it subconsciously, but you're talking into the statue. It's amazing.
It's me. I got to put this down, man.
I mean,
put this down.
I've ruined the magic. What you just said reminds me a lot of what you said in, like, 2018 when you're on TL. You didn't say it exactly, but in 2018, at one point in an interview, you're like, we're just going to decide how we're going to play. We're going to play through bot lane. We're going to give me the resources. You didn't say that's what the conversation was, but that's what it looked like in Week 8. Is that kind of what you decided on, that you needed to play through bot, have a strong team fighting team, you know, scale and stuff?
You know, I just think like it's a bunch of things. It's like that is the style that fits our team the best. Yeah. So it gives our team the highest chance of winning the game. But also, AD carry is just completely broken right now. Like, I saw some statistic on the LCS broadcast about how like all the kill leaders are AD carries. Yeah. And
top 5.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you, right? Like it's just the AD carry like disproportionately does like a crazy amount of damage and just does the most with gold compared to like most other seasons. So yeah, it does feel like everyone else on the team is kind of a second-class citizen that's there to like serve the AD carry.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You mentioned a little bit about the mid-season struggles, and if you're open to it, I want to hear a little bit about that, because you also made a coaching change. Nuke Duck became your head coach as of, I believe, week 7 when the win streak started.
Yeah, so 7-0 with him.
It seemed like a really big inflection point for the team. Is that true?
Like a bunch of stuff happened around that time. Like one of them is I've always been a big proponent of having open, direct talks with my teammates. For example, I don't want to be complaining to my coach about something that my teammate does. I'd rather tell him to his face. And when you're in an environment where you're like kind of afraid of doing that because you're afraid to like damage the team environment, I think that's when things like snowball out of control. So for a while, I think our team was holding a lot of criticism of each other, including like people's criticism of me. They kind of were just holding it in. And if you don't know how important something is to your teammates, you're not going to try as hard as you should to like fix those problems. So
was it going through like an intermediary, or was it just being completely held back from everyone?
No, I mean, like, I think it was being a little bit, what is the right word for it? Like where it's just being, it's being delivered too nicely.
Okay,
it's not
too sugar-coated.
Yeah, it's sugar-coated. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. But that happens, and then we made the coaching change as well. And both of those things kind of together made our team a lot better. Obviously, I don't think like Nuke Duck is solely responsible for the 7-0 win streak afterwards, but he was a huge help. I was really surprised. I mean, I've always thought coaches could only be so useful. It really the people who are playing the game are the players. That's really it. Like, and a player can also be a coach to his teammates if you want to be a leader in and out of the game. But man, Nuke Duck has been really doing amazing. It really made me appreciate how he's someone who, like me and like Bjergsen, played in LEC at the highest level for an extremely long time. So he's accumulated like a crazy amount of knowledge. The only difference is, I would say maybe like LEC's average level of macro is like a little bit better.
Okay.
And so like the way that he understands the game and he directs us, there's a lot of trust in him. We just, if he has an idea, we just do his idea. So yeah, I mean, he's done very well as a coach, basically.
That sounds awesome. Unfortunately, today you did fall the FlyQuest. We're pre-taping this, so you're going to be seeing this right before the Golden Guardians match. So
yeah,
you've done great in this interview to look towards the future. And you and I talked a little bit off camera about the lower bracket run. You did it in 2020, the last time you were in the LCS. How are you approaching thinking about the Golden Guardians match and even the rest of playoffs?
I mean, I swear we played against Golden Guardians in the lower bracket. We have, yes. This is
I mean, actually,
yeah, that was Golden Guardians.
It was Huhi.
Yes, it was Huhi on Golden Guardians. It's time is a circle. Regardless, our lower bracket, like, I feel very comfortable in the lower bracket. I always tell my team, like, jokingly, it's kind of a buff because you get to play more games, and your like best of 5 choke is kind of like out of the way. And on top of that, like, there's a potential that we play like just as many games in playoffs as we played in the entire regular season. To be honest, then against Golden Guardians when they knocked us down lower bracket, and now against FlyQuest, you just have to admit they played better than us. So what can we learn? Like, how do we get better? Because it's not a sprint. It's kind of a marathon. Playoffs lasts many, over the course of many weeks. So you just have to kind of survive and adapt and like evolve through every single day, every match that you play.
Yeah. Happy you came back?
Extremely happy. Extremely. Regardless of the results.
I actually never asked you about this. Like, you spent 2.5 years off.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been, in the last couple of years, like, I have not felt as fulfilled as I have playing on 100 Thieves. We haven't had the best possible results. We kind of like sneaked into playoffs with a crazy miracle in the last couple of weeks. We just lost to FlyQuest, but I've never been happier. And, competing is just, it's in my blood. Like, I just love it.
Yeah.
It's like the purest form of fulfillment, like figuring out how you can best somebody at something that you both are really passionate about. That is so cool to me. So yeah, probably going to compete for as long as I possibly can.
Damn, awesome to hear. Thank you very much for joining me for the interview. That'll do it from here and the MasterCard interview.
Bye-bye.
Awesome interview with